With social media, especially Instagram, becoming the go-to place for artists as well as video editors to post and share their work, are websites and web portfolios necessary to get a job in video production and editing? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Let's get into it. And this video is sponsored by Hostinger. I'll tell you more about them later on in the video. So last week I ran a couple of polls on Twitter and YouTube asking you if you had a web portfolio for your work or if you thought it was necessary. On YouTube, 62% of you said yes, you have a web portfolio. 38% of you said no, that it's not necessary and that you don't have one. Same on Twitter, 62% of you said yes and 37% of you said no. So going through the comments in reaction to the polls that I had was the reason why some of you said no is that you already had connections and relationships that a portfolio wasn't necessary. The clients are already coming to them. So for example, Tony C wrote, "I've been in the game for over a decade and I don't recall ever getting a single job as a result of having a portfolio. I've established myself in such a way that at this point I don't seek clients, the clients seek me." But with all of that said, today I saw an editor post in a group, "Does anyone have any opportunities?" And naturally, not knowing who he is or what his abilities are, I automatically said, "Do you have a portfolio?" So in reaction to this, if you're more established, you don't necessarily need to have a website. But if you're just starting out, you need to have a space that you can send people to showcase your work as to get your foot in the door. On YouTube, Yaya wrote, 100% it does help, as people who don't know you disregard you if you're within a bunch of people who already have a portfolio straight away. So while you may be in a position where the clients are coming to you, there's always going to be somebody that may not know your work. So having a website that aggregates and consolidates all of your best, most recent work is a good thing to have because you can always send that link. So what I've done is I asked on Twitter for you to send me examples of great web portfolios of video editors and motion designers. And today we're going to take a look at a few of them and analyze them. And I'm going to write down on this piece of paper what makes a good portfolio. And then at the end, we will review some of the key things that stick out when building your own web portfolio if this is something that you'd like to create. All right, so first up is Jordan Orme. Jordan Orme is a video editor. He also is a YouTuber now, and he runs his own YouTube channel where he reacts to different music video edits, and he also edits his own music videos. Right here on his landing page, you can see it just takes you into the content first. So this is a content first approach, and you notice that it's up at the top, you can easily navigate to the different genres that he edits. So navigation, I'm going to write down as a good thing to have to make it easy to navigate your work. The first thing that he did was take us to commercial because it goes directly into credibility. So right away you can see he's worked with Nike. So putting, your most recognizable brands first is really good. Another thing about the site is that it's very minimal. It's just the content here and there's not a lot of detail. The only thing he puts here is that he's an editor. On the right. There's not even an About Me page here. But overall, I think the key things from Jordan's page is that it's minimal. You can easily navigate to see what type of projects he edits. And then at the bottom, there's contact. So it's important that he has this email here. It could be a little bit more prominent, I think, but I'm going to write down contact and social platforms to connect because that just ties in with credibilities. The next one is Sarah Snow. I met Sarah at NAB show a few years back. When you first get to her site, it just shows, wow, she creates shareable content with a view count over 500 million. And then immediately it defines who she is. So defining who you are, she's a social video creator. And then it automatically goes in this creative way to showcase her work. One thing I'm going to write down here is the presentation. If you're a creator, how can you make the design of your site reflect your creativity? So I'm going to put creative design. And here, what I really like about this animation here is her work. It defines a project title, her roles. She was the director, producer, and the editor. And on the right, because social media is very important to a lot of the video work that we do today, it shows you the total views, shares, and comments. And to go to the next one, you can just hit next and it nicely animates in and it shows the roles here. This is something that I was missing from Jordan's site. Jordan had a great site, but here it actually defines the roles she took with each of these projects. And down at the bottom, throughout all of this is contact with a nice little pencil animation, a nice little touch. If you click on that, And here you can type in your email address and message, as well as an actual email in case that site is down. And one thing I like about her About page is that it defines all of the benefits of being a social video creator and a little story as well, which I think adds a little personal touch. I think that people like to connect more and know more about your story. So having an About Me page, I think is great. And by the way, my name is Kelsey and welcome back to Gal. If these video portfolio tips are helping you out so far, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're interested in starting to build your own website, I recommend Hostinger. What's really great is compared to other web hosting sites, this is super fast and affordable, and you get a free domain. Plus, you can get an extra 10% off their hosting plans using my discount code GAL. And what's really great is that it will walk you through every step of the way if you're new to what web hosting is, or if you haven't even created your website. So it'll ask you, I'm creating a website for, and you can select one of the options. It'll also ask you what type of website you're creating. So in this case, we can choose portfolio, and you can choose what level you're at. And once you're in the H panel, you can also set up SSL, which is really necessary for creating a secure encryption for your website, especially if you have a store on your website. This is very important. You can also connect Cloudflare, which will give your site some extra security from hackers as well. So then down here from hosting, you can go to manage and scroll down to website. And here's where you can connect it to WordPress. And WordPress is great because there's so many themes on the market to choose from that you can then customize. And I'll put a link to some of my favorite portfolio themes for WordPress down below. So if you want an easy way to manage your web hosting at an affordable price, I definitely recommend Hostinger. You can get 10% off using my discount code GAL. All right, let's go back into looking at the portfolios. And next up is Kyle Martinez. He is an animator here. You can see right away, you can just hover over these different thumbnails to view the different projects. He also has a reel, which the other sites didn't have. And I'm not sure if a reel is necessary for video editing, because all a reel really does for a video editor is just show that you can edit to music. So I think just having an easy place to view multiple different work is fine. But in this case, for an animator, it really gives you a feel of the animator style. But also what I really like about Kyle's site is if I go, for example, here, Uber driver promotions, if you click on this, not only does it have the work here that you can play, but it has a little description as well as the credits. It shows that he was one of the animators on the other team, and he also gives credit to other people too, which I don't think is very common. So it kind of shows that he's a team player. So that's something that I'm going to write down here because it really shows the scope and if he's able to work on a larger team, and he includes a link to view the entire project, which is really cool. So the only thing I would give feedback for Kyle is just putting animator, just so it easily defines his role. But overall, solid portfolio. And lastly, but certainly not least, is Cash Bunny. Cash Bunny has been a huge inspiration for me. I love her work. She started as a video editor and then she kind of expanded into more visual effects. And one thing that jumps out when you first get to her page is that it auto plays. So right away, you get a feel for sort of this psychedelic kind of cool mind-bending video work that she does. So I'm going to put autoplay on here as a benefit. And this is kind of like a reel right off the bat, but if you want to go into her work, really easy to navigate. Again, navigation is key, and it takes us to this nice page that organizes all of her work. And what's really unique, I haven't seen this on a portfolio yet, you can filter her work by camera and by subject. So it's almost like you're on your own stock video page, which is really cool. And then if you want to see some of the work that she's done for celebrities, you can select celebrities, and she's worked with a lot of different celebrities here, like Will Smith. And then it gives detail on what this project was for. It was actually made for the Aladdin movie premiere. So she was actually hired to create this promo video for social media, and it shows, who shot it as well as who edited it, which is really important to show that detail that shows that she's a team player and she's worked with some high level people. So I'm going to put here creative design. This was creatively organized. So I'm going to put a check mark next to creative design. Really important to have a website that kind of showcases your ability to creatively design as well. All right, so now let's go to the About page. You don't have to put a photo of yourself. It's not necessary. But if you're going to, rather than putting just a boring old headshot, she chose the specific shot that reflects her personality. So in a nice cool yellow dress or long shirt with some colorful striped sleeves, and the way that she's posed just shows that she's a lady boss, she knows what she's doing, and she has a lot of fun with her work. So immediately I'm drawn in, and also the yellow of her dress matches the yellow hover link color, which is another creative design thing that you can think about. Make sure that the photos kind of reflect the colors and design of your site. And again, on the About Me page, it shows where she's based and a little bit about herself. If your work has gotten recognition by the press, definitely have a press page. She's gotten a ton of coverage for her work, and highlight it. You should definitely highlight when your work has been recognized. And last but not least, there's the connect page, which is the most important part, an email or some sort of form for people to connect with you. So I'm going to put a little check mark next to contact as well. That's really important. So here are my things. We'll put up on screen here the top things for a good portfolio. 1, make sure it's easy to navigate. It's a minimal enough design that people can easily find your work. Showcase the top brands first, just like Jordan did with the Nike. And thirdly, have a contact page where people can easily connect with you. Also, be creative with your design. For example, with Sarah, she had that animation to bring you into the portfolio. Cash Bunny, she created a really unique creative filter for people to navigate your work. Also, be sure to have an About Me page where people can read more about you. And if you are going to have a headshot, be sure to make it one that reflects your personality. And lastly, add credits to your work so people know what role you played and the other people that you worked with, so that way they can see that you're a team player. So in conclusion, your website is kind of a reflection of your work, and it just kind of summarizes everything about you as a creator, whether you're a video editor, motion designer, or a social video creator. You don't necessarily need to have a website, but to have a place, you can maybe use LinkedIn's creator mode or Behance, just a place where you can send people to be like, hey, this is my professional work. And I think that's a great way to get your foot in the door. So at the end of the day, while your skills and your work and your portfolio are important, what's even more important is that other people know how talented you are. So work on building up your connections and sharing your site with people and building up your reputation, and the work will follow. Anyway, I hope that you found all of these tips useful today. If you're interested in creating your own website, I highly recommend Hostinger for their affordable and fast web hosting. You can use my link below to get 10% off. If you're interested in some more video editing tips, you can just watch some more videos right over here, and you can also click on my head, my face here, to subscribe to the channel. And as always, keep creating better video with Gal. See you next time. Bye.